Hey guys, what's up? Son of Chelsea back here again for another edition of Let's Talk Chelsea. We are coming up to the conclusion of the January transfer window and there are a few interesting transfer stories related to Chelsea, so let's get to them. Firstly, is kind of a bittersweet one, a bit of a sad one to be honest. Ramirez leaving Chelsea to go to the Chinese Super League. He's off to China for 25 million and this kind of rumour about him leaving came up on Monday and it quite surprised me. We hadn't heard anything about Ramirez and then suddenly we heard the deal was close and then the deal was announced. And as I say, it's kind of a little bit bittersweet. I have fond memories of Ramirez in a Chelsea shirt. Did a lot of good things for the club. Was always someone who provided that quality, that spark of quality. You know, we look back to Barcelona, we look back to his goal against Leicester. I'm sure there are many moments. And guys, in the comments below, let me know some of your favourite Ramirez moments in a Chelsea shirt. Let me know. But he's definitely someone that's always tried. Now, in sort of the counter to this, or the kind of effect of this transfer, will now Loftus-Cheek take the spot of Ramirez, and will Loftus-Cheek be promoted? Because kind of you could almost say that Ramirez in some ways was in front a lot of the time of Loftus-Cheek, and will now that mean that Loftus-Cheek now takes Ramirez's place and hopefully, in my opinion, gets him more first team game time? It's going to be very interesting, but definitely Ramirez is a great servant to the club and he will be missed at Chelsea. Next is a transfer story that's kind of come out of nowhere. Matt Miazga, I think I pronounced that right. Matt Miazga coming from New York Red Bulls to Chelsea, of course, in the MLS. And once again, it's another one of these transfer stories that's a little bit weird. And then suddenly now Chelsea have been linked to him. Now, he is 20 years old, so still a very young defender for Chelsea to bring in. And also, I've sort of heard different reports. He could be a very bright prospect in the future. He could come in, develop at Chelsea and be a really good defender. But then there are people who say he just simply isn't at the standard of Chelsea. As I say, youth does come into it. He's not the finished product by any means. But at the same time, I sort of look at this as another case where our recruitment system does seem a little bit strange and a little bit odd. And we're going in for players that really just aren't at a certain level. You know, there are better young defenders out there. Now, also, I think people need to take into perspective that January is a very difficult month to buy players. Of course, most players don't want to leave their clubs. So they're always going to be difficult to try and get that top level end or even below that. And sometimes this is the only deals you can get over the line. Now, apparently, the deal was already secured. Chelsea, of course, are nowhere near to announcing it. Apparently, he hasn't even had a medical yet. Apparently, he's going to come over to England and get all that finalised. As we've seen as well with Alexandre Pato as well as Matt Miazga, these are two low-risk signings. They're very, very low risk for Chelsea. You're not spending a lot on them. So if they do badly, we're not losing a lot in money. But at the same time, as much as that comes into it, the financial side of it, I'm looking at it from how is this going to benefit the squad. You've got Gary Cahill who's now worrying for his future because of Matt Miazga coming in. Maybe he could be a hot prospect, come in, do very well, develop at Chelsea and then develop into a really, really good defender or even backup defender for Chelsea. So we never know. We'll have to wait and see. And lastly, as well as that, around transfers, Chelsea are apparently being investigated for a rumoured transfer ban. You know, apparently Chelsea in some ways have broken the rules. This is about Bertrand Traore apparently playing an under-18s game before he was actually 18, you know, and that's sort of a problem for Chelsea, a big problem apparently, and he was registered, and there's lots more information on this, but the thing is, I've heard different reports about this. I've heard one report saying that Chelsea really haven't broken any rules. They feel they're standing strong on this one and saying, listen, we haven't broken any rules, but they are still going to be investigated. Now, we have seen recently these transfer bans. Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, some of the biggest clubs in the world are facing these regulations. FIFA are not scared to hand these bans out to big clubs. So really, it could be a massive, massive, massive change to our transfer business in the future if a transfer ban did hit. Now, hopefully for Chelsea and for my sake, and you know, for a lot of us, this isn't true and we do get past this and the investigation comes to nothing. But you never know, because we've seen with big clubs bringing in these young players, bringing in players who in sort of a dodgy way, not the proper way. It's quite surprising that big clubs are not following through with the restrictions, but that's the way it is in football. We never know what goes on with these transfers, the crazy world of transfers that it is, but we're going to have to wait on seeing that one, still investigating. I'm not sure how it's going to work out. So guys, that has been it for this edition of Let's Talk Chelsea. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on everything I've discussed in the comments below. Give me your suggestions and thoughts on Chelsea's transfer business so far. And basically, this will be the last kind of transfer edition, heavy edition of Let's Talk Chelsea, because of course the transfer ends on Monday. Monday. You can follow me personally on Twitter at Son of Chelsea. Also, you can check out my own personal YouTube channel, Son of Chelsea, where I do Chelsea-related football and other stuff, which you can go and check out in the description box below. Also, follow 100% Chelsea on Twitter. All the social media links as well for the channel are in the description box below, and I'll see you again.
A lot of people think he'll be back up to Diego Costa, but in fact, Patel, who's coming over, owned by Corinthians, but been on loan for Sao